This month.
Are we?
Wow, it's 46 or 146?
46.
Definitely not 146.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, this will be the last episode for the Sedge giveaway for July.
Ooh.
I just got mine in yesterday. I got my Sedge in yesterday. No?
Oh, no kidding.
No, we have one more.
We have one more after this.
Yep.
Well, for the July giveaway, this is the last podcast. If you're listening to this now and you haven't entered the chance to win a Sedge, make sure you go to www.greenseaterspodcast.com and in your chance to win a Sedge.
I'm right here, man.
So I show up to my house yesterday, right? Come back from Jennifer's. I show up, I come up to my back door, and there's this huge box. I'm talking massive. And there's like little holes cut out in it. I'm like, what the hell is this? And it's got Leather by Dragonfly stickers all over it. And I'm like, what is this? And I like go to poke it and it like moves around a little bit. I'm like, oh my God, there's something in there. I open it up and it said,
yeah, they shipped me.
They sent me the Sedge.
Yeah. They shipped me
all
over.
So I had Sedge clean up the basement. I had him cut the grass. I had him dethatch my yard. I just started putting in work. So
it was enjoyable too.
It was
taking orders from you and making sure it's done right.
So, ladies and gentlemen, if you want Sedge to come over and work at your house, you need to enter this giveaway so that you can win a Sedge.
He comes and changes Leo's diapers for me every weekend.
Oh yeah, and yours.
Ben, we have one more week that they're going to be able to win a Sedge.
This comes out. I'm doing it on Mondays now. I'm releasing on Mondays for the free feeds. So, this will be the 25th.
The 25th.
Oh, sorry.
God.
It's been a long.
Sorry, guys. He's a work in progress. Okay. We've only done this 47 times now, Ben.
46.
46. Okay.
146.
Technically, we have done it 47. The first one never worked. You remember that?
That's right.
Well, there was the pilot. We knew that it was going to be a pilot.
The pilot.
What do they call those? The lost episodes?
Oh, yeah.
All right.
All right, Jason, it's your topic this week. What are we doing?
It is. Are we not talking about what we've been up to?
We can. I just want to throw it to you.
Oh, okay. So we are going to briefly discuss what we've been up to, what we got going on. But tonight's topic is going to be, I'm excited about this topic and I'm excited about next week's topic, but tools that we could live without. And we're also going to make a case for why we know, or we think that we could be okay without that tool. Now, with that being said, we have talked about this kind of off and on because it's come up in other conversations, but this episode is dedicated specifically to tools that we could live without and why. But let me tell everybody about what I've been up to. Are you guys ready?
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I guess so. You're just going to sit there and tell us anyway. So
it's true. No, really nothing. My mind is all over the place. I don't want to get too deep into this, but Ben, you know how every once in a while I'll get in these weird like spells where like I can't focus on one thing because I'm trying to.
What do you mean every once in a while? When you say every once in a while, does a while mean every day? Is that
no? It's really bad right now. It's really bad right now. I actually tried to talk with Nicole about it yesterday, and I think it's because it's so close to the end, and my mind is just racing. So many things to do with the house. So I'm trying to get back on track. Starting to lean pretty heavily forward on my business idea that I want to do going into next year. So some exciting stuff coming with that. Still not going to talk about it just yet.
Did you get your HIV test done before you start that?
Yeah. Well, part of the plan is
you want to start clean, man. You
I have to get tested every week. It's like a policy.
Are you going to travel too to like Vegas?
Oh, absolutely.
Oh,
yeah.
Monte
Primarily,
Carlo?
it will be in Vegas. but I don't want to talk
Dubai?
about what it is yet.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
No.
because
So the only thing
it's
that I
a real-
really,
it's a confidential clientele list. You
Mhm.
don't want to
right.
disclose anything.
Yeah.
Very
VIP.
gigolo.
Yeah. The only thing I've really been up to and has been kind of consuming my time is the patio. So I just wanted to briefly talk about that. We've been talking about doing the deck. I know we talked about it here. We're not going to do that now. So Nicole and I discussed it, and we like the pros to doing the concrete slab a little bit better. So I've had 3 estimates, and I'll have a 4th one this week. And once we do that, we actually had 2 estimates, didn't really know exactly what we wanted, figured out what we wanted, told the 3rd guy, and now I have the 2nd guy redoing the estimate, and I'll be showing a 3D model because I was doing it in SketchUp of our back patio. So
Are you going to do just a regular slab or basic slab, or are you going to try to do like some kind of ornate something?
Stamped concrete? No. That was the plan. Nicole, I knew what stamped concrete was. Nicole had a different understanding what stamped concrete was, and she does not like the texture and she does not like the look. So therefore, we are just going to go with the standard broom finish. We really liked it at our last house, and there was really no reason to change it. She just thought stamped concrete meant something a little bit different. Like we could get like stamped tile, but not like brick or stone, looking.
It's just a laid in pattern.
Right. What we wanted was so basic that it isn't really stamped concrete. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but she doesn't want it, bottom line. Which is great because it's cheaper, because we're not doing that. So but that's what we'll be doing. Have a little fire pit out there, and I'm going to rip everything out, and that should be pretty cool. When that's going to happen, probably not. I'm a little bummed out though, because obviously now I'm not going to have the content to do it, but I will be building an outdoor kitchen.
That'll be cool.
So that'll probably be next spring. But so one of the things that I've got to figure out is like how to run that gas line where it is now out to where the concrete would stop, because I'm going to run it under. So it's already there. Same thing with the electrical. I already have an electrical outlet out there by that. Said, that pond?
Yep.
There's actually a plug there.
Yeah.
So the cable's already there. Everything's already there. I just got to pull it off the wall for the house and then run it underneath where the thing will go. So
I know a good electrician that can do that.
Yeah. He's too busy.
Man.
Yeah.
He's way too busy.
But that's that's really what I've been up to. Nothing too exciting. I'll start doing some fun stuff in the shop here soon, but that's kind of taken all of my time, is this patio stuff. It's a safety concern at this point. So Sedge, what about you?
Just organizing the shop, and because I get that extra space now with the shed, I just dropped the shed video last Sunday, and the whole process of having it delivered it was pretty cool. But I hope people notice that it really opened up the shop, and it's completely different now. And I moved some pieces around, and I'm going back and forth where I should start moving stuff. And I've been standing out there just looking at the space in the evenings, just going, well, what if I did this? What if I did this? So I'm going to utilize your critical eye and listen to some advice from you, Jason, when you come over.
Yes. So first of all, I wanted to say I watched the video. I loved it. It was great. And I could tell just from the video how much of a difference it is. So I'm excited to see it this weekend, pending, Leo tests negative on Friday.
Hey, one of the things I did is I took the time to fill, sand, and paint that wall. And sometimes just repainting a wall, because you have all the scuff marks from all the garden tools and stuff.
Yeah, just rejuvenates the space.
Marianne freaked out. She was like, wow. And there was a couple other little things that I did with some trim just to make it look better, because there was a hole in the wall around my my photo cell for my outside lights, and it looks kind of cool. So I've just been doing some of that. But the thing that you do when you open up a space, and this is always the process or the ongoing thing, is shop organization. oh, I wonder if I put that over there and I do this, and would the flow be better? And and then all of a sudden I get a little, how do you say, stuck.
Mm-hmm.
And then I go, whoop,
You need another pair of eyes.
I think so, and it'll be cool. What else have I been up to? Oh my God, I got family in town. My brother-in-law and my niece and my grandnephew. And it started out because you guys know we got 3 golden doodles. Well, they have a golden doodle and a Aussie miniature doodle. So we have 5 dogs in the house right now.
What?
And I came home from work yesterday and I thought, oh no, they're gonna be back and stuff like that. I was telling Ben before we started, it's like one big rug walking around this place. They're all like doodled out and laying around. And it's like, it's just, you know what it is? It's just great having family in town. It really is, just chilling. So that's what I've been up to, and just getting some stuff ready. My day job, of course, Festool, I'm getting all my fall travel ready. I was speaking with Atlas Tool up in Toronto today, and we're going to do a Sedge Saturday, which we always do in the fall up there. It's going to be fun. We were just trying to figure out what I'm going to be demoing all day Saturday. If you're ever in Toronto, anybody listening, you got to go by Atlas Tool.
I want to go so bad.
It is one of the nicest showrooms that I've ever been into, and it's family owned and operated, and they're just the most wonderful family. So I was talking to Sean, who kind of runs the whole thing now, and it's pretty cool. So that's what I've been up to, just getting through and making sure everything's running. Oh, and I just reviewed our next video today. Chris just sent it over, and this is one of the first times I got to do a little bit of a reshoot, because it's not that I want this video perfect. It's one I know so many people have been asking for over the years. And it's a calibration video about Festool, and I'll leave it at that. But that should drop Sunday. I'm not positive. So when this comes out, it'll probably be out there.
Right.
I'm really excited about it, because I've wanted to do this forever, and I'm talking way before I started Sedge Tool. I've always wanted to do something, because I don't think there's a video out there on how to do this calibration. So it's kind of fun. Yeah. So that's what I've been up to. Well, how about you, Mr. Marshall?
I finished the last 2 videos of my my motorcycle trip series on my other channel. Launched those this weekend. Feedback was really good on it.
I want to interrupt. Did you post them yet?
Yeah,
okay,
I posted
because
them on Sunday, I believe.
Okay, because I went on there this weekend, because come on, man, I was jonesing to watch them. I'm going to watch them after the podcast tonight.
It was either Saturday or Sunday morning I released them. I can't remember.
Cool.
But I finished editing those last week, and then Jennifer and I had engagement pictures this weekend, which was a lot of fun. And now I'm just I think I'm just kind of prepping for whatever my next video is going to be. And it's summertime, a lot of yard work. I'm still trying to wrap up the French drain project, because now that big tree is finally gone. And just trying to tidy that up just a little bit. There's still some loose ends that I've got to tie up with that. So that's pretty much it.
Cool. I can't wait to watch those videos, man. Love them.
They're okay.
They're more than okay, dude. For sure.
All right. Well, let's do this. This is kind of like perfect timing for this topic, because when my mind starts racing like this and I can't focus, I also have a tendency to
do meth.
Want to buy tools while doing meth.
Oh my God.
No, so lately I've been online.
Yeah, you guys, I need like 50 nail guns. You guys got 50 nail guns?
So funny you mentioned that, because look what I have sitting right here.
Oh my God.
Literally one of the things I was going to talk about. All right. So, but yeah, great topic, or great segue into the topic of what we could live without.
Is it like an anxiety thing? Is that why you go out and buy a tool, do you think?
No, I think for me, okay, I'm at the point now where
like an anxiousness kind of thing.
No, I'm just at the point now where I don't think I need to buy tools. And for the longest time, I was so used to doing this business in terms of building furniture and everything for the sole purpose of buying tools. So, anytime I ever made profit early on, I took that money and dumped it into other tools. Some of those were great purchases. Some of them were not. Now it's very rare that I buy tools. It's also very strange that this all kind of falls around the time where I'm not drinking during the week anymore. Like I'm legit sticking to only drinking on the weekends for like a month now. But I don't know. I feel like that might be a vice that, I'm not drinking, so I need to be doing something else. And that other thing is like, oh, there was this I needed to buy, and there was this I wanted to buy, and I want to try one of these, right? So let's talk about the first thing. This is kind of a good example, right? I legitimately just got this in the mail today. This is a Grex staple gun. So your T50 stapler, this is an air version of that. You can use different sizes as well. Why did I buy this? Because at some point I'm going to need it. Right. And like no, what I was thinking about is like the panels that I'm going to make for the ceiling.
Yes.
When I have a T50 manual staple gun, I'm not going to sit there and, staple all those things down. I just want an air tool, go down the list. Right. And then I'm like, I want to do some other stuff later with some leather upholstery. It's like, yeah, why not have one? Right. That right there is a tool that I absolutely could live without 100%. Right. So why did I buy it? Well, that kind of goes in line with, I don't know. Lately, I just feel like I need to be new. I've been on US Tool and Fastener lately a lot. Let's just put it that way. Like a lot, looking at things. But I digress. I'm going to tell you my first tool. It's one that that I've discussed before, but it's going to be the drill press. If I was to get rid of any major tool in my shop today, drill press would go.
And why is that?
Because the only reason I really use a drill press is to drill hinge cup holes. That's it. Like that's the only thing that I use it for. The stuff that I do, I just don't do a lot that I think really requires perfectly, perpendicular holes. And like I have the same 35 millimeter bit in that still. I mean, I can't remember the last time I, changed it out. It's just a tool that, definitely I could do without. And a good example of that is I already went from the floor standing model to the benchtop model because I was like, I don't need this. This is way more capacity than I'm ever going to need. I don't need it. Let's get rid of it. So I got rid of it. I got the benchtop one. It's a great drill press. I think I'd be just fine without it. Now, if my skills progress one day, maybe I would regret that and have to get another one. But for me, I could definitely do without it for what I do.
And that benchtop drill press is probably the heaviest drill press I've ever picked up. That thing is solid.
Yeah, I feel like this. I almost feel like this is heavier than the Powermatic I had, which I know is definitely not the case. But it's just every time I try to move it, I'm like, God, this thing sucks. And it's just awkward. But great tool, 100% could do without it.
So why did you get it then?
Because it's awesome.
Because he wasn't drinking during the week.
Yeah. No, I got it because it's one of those things, I'm like, well, I need a drill press. It does make things easier. And when I do a lot of cabinet stuff, it's excellent to have. It's really, really nice to have. But I sold the other one and I just used the money to buy a benchtop one. Because at the time I was like, oh, I have the space and this is just going to be better because now I can put it on a benchtop. And I wasn't thinking about it the way that I think about it now at that time. I've had it for a while. So when I bought that, it wasn't like, could I really live without this? Like, I wasn't even thinking about that. But now looking at it, I'm like, okay, I've had this for a long time and I barely ever used the dang thing. So that's my first one. Ben, you give us one.
I don't want to, I don't want to cop out of the topic. I mean, because I can talk about the table saw, but there isn't anything in my shop that I could do without. I feel like well, for one, I'm not making as much as probably most people are, at least right now I'm not. But I feel that I'm a little bit more deliberate about my tool purchases, and I really wait before I buy something, unless it is something I need like right there in the moment, like if something broke or something like that. But I mean, because you presented this topic to us this weekend, and I mean, I legitimately just went into my shop and just looked around at everything, and I'm like, there's literally nothing that I have not used in the last month and a half or 2
Okay,
months really.
let me interrupt you. I'm not going to
Yeah.
accept that answer. And here's why. I want you to think of it not that you need to get rid of something, even if it's a tool that you do use. Like, think of a tool that if you didn't have that, you would be okay. So like, what's a tool that, you know what I mean? Like, not, I'm saying
Yeah.
you need to get rid of a tool. What's it going to be? Because you're right. Like you're very deliberate, but also think back to your previous experience too, right? In your last shop, like if the tools when you were woodworking before, this time around is a little bit different for you, right? You went into it knowing I'm going to get these things and I know I'm going to use them. But like, what's a tool that you do have that, if you didn't have it, you'd be fine?
Oh, well, I mean, obviously the Conturo, I'd be fine without it.
Good one.
It's an applicator. Could I do the same thing with a press on? Well, yeah. Edge bending, yes. Sedge,
Sinner.
Yeah.
Sinner.
I wasn't telling you to mention the
Well,
Conturo, but I'm just kidding.
Sinner.
Well, but I mean, but ultimately, it's an applicator, and there are other ways of doing it. Now, do I want to do that as a press on? No, because it takes forever to do that. And out of anything in my shop, the thing that I value the most is my time. And if there's a tool that I enjoy just using, and it saves me time and it's precise, well, hell yeah, I'm gonna buy it. Because when I am selling things on my Etsy store, it's all sheet goods, and so it's all edge banded for the most part. I have a few live edge things, but I mean that's literally the only reason why I have the Contour is to save me time, and it's fun to use. Like, I'm just gonna say it's fun to use.
I kind of freaked out. I kind of freaked out, Ben, when I found out you had a Conturo.
Yeah, why is that?
You're not the average person that buys a Conturo.
Why? Because I'm not
the average person that buys a
tradesman?
Conturo. The average person that buys a Conturo has a shop with edge banders, but they buy it for the outside radius and inside radius.
Yeah, for contouring. Yeah,
but you know what? I was like blown away that you owned one. I thought that was wicked cool. But could you
if
do
I
it
didn't?
without it? Absolutely.
Oh well, yeah, of course.
Yeah, for
But
sure.
would I want to? No.
Right.
I'll put it like this: I never want to edge band any other way than with the Conturo.
Same.
It's
That's
just,
why I
it's a
borrowed
different thing.
Jason's. Yeah.
But
True statement.
if had I not gotten that thing for such a steal, I wouldn't have it. That's the only reason why I got it. I got it ungodly underpriced, and the MFT table to go with it. So that's the only reason why I did buy it.
You do have the table for the MFT for the Contour. That's
that's
the bone.
That's what my second MFT is. It's the one that came with the Conturo.
Cool.
And so whenever I want to use it on the tabletop, I just set up my STM 1800 and throw the Conturo MDF top on top of that and just clamp it down and use that.
That's wicked smart.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And so if I really wanted to, I could have three MFT level surfaces to work on.
That's cool.
Obviously, I haven't had a table saw for 4 years now.
Save that one.
And what's that?
You said the Conturo. It's Sedge's turn.
Oh, okay.
Oh, we're gonna do one at a time?
Yeah, let's do one at a time. That way one person's not talking.
Sedge,
that's me.
What's a tool that you could do without besides Jason?
Well played.
So when
Well
we were
done, Ben.
discussing this topic, this is really tough for me because I have sold stuff before and then I've needed it within a month, and it drives me freaking crazy, and I don't touch it for like 2-3 years. So I'm gonna name one that I bought at a really cool low price. It was a Performax 1632 drum sander. It's sitting on top of that set of drawers I made.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep saying I'm going to do some bent lamination, and I wanted to sand it. But with the Festool system, you really don't need to sand it because of the way the track saw cuts with barely any saw blade marks, right? So I bought it from a guy who I used to know 22 years ago. He's a welder. He passed away. His wife called me right before the garage sale started and said, Blackie said you get first dibs with another one of my friends, Dave. We went over and I bought the 1632 and went home, ran it a few times. It's got the Baldor motor on it. It's got such a sentimental value to me. And I think I'm going to part with it. But for the life of me, man, it still works great. You can still get parts for it. It's a wonderful machine. Can I live without it? I have for 22 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, it's lived with me because I've moved it from one shop to another in Florida and then up here to, Indiana. But have I used it really? No, not at all. So I'm going to part with it, I think, soon. But I have a couple other things, and that's all I'm going to say about that.
Okay.
I think you're up, Jace.
Oh, it's funny. I felt like I was totally prepared for this, and now I'm like looking around, like, what else would I? Because I think the majority of the tools that realistic, like we're thinking big tools, right? Because it's the first thing that comes to mind.
Mhm.
I could open up 5 drawers right now and find something in every drawer that I could absolutely live without, right?
Mhm.
Drum sander for me was obviously another one, but you already said that one, and I've talked about that nauseum, why I could do without a drum sander. I'm gonna miter saw. I know
Okay,
it says.
Patrick.
See,
Okay,
See?
Patrick.
No,
Yeah.
you have your MFT set up.
Yeah. So for me, now again, to caveat what Ben said earlier about I wouldn't want to live without it. Yeah, neither would I. Right. That's not the point of this conversation. I absolutely do not want to be without one, but I could get by without it because of the work that I do and the setup that I have here at my assembly table. I could crosscut everything I needed to crosscut and get just as good of results on my assembly table. It's not going to be as fast, but
I agree with you on that. I could probably do the same.
Yeah. Again, to be clear, I don't want to.
No, God, no.
I don't want to, but I could totally get by without it easily. Miter saw.
Agreed.
Because
I agree to disagree.
Okay, so perfect. Here we go. So me and Ben agree. You clearly are the opposite. You tell me why for you, again, because this is very individual based, right?
Mhm.
Answer this for me. And we'll talk about the Capex specifically in this scenario because all of us have the Capex.
Mhm.
What does the Capex excel at, Sedge?
Time.
In regard to what?
If I walk up and I'm cutting some 2x material to do 5-degree cuts for a ramp, I'm not setting up my MFT to do that. I walk right over to my Capex and it's literally 5 seconds for each board. If I set up an MFT, Yeah, it's going to take me probably 3 or 4 minutes to set up an MFT properly, accurately, and then cut. I don't want to waste that 3, 4, 5 minutes to do that. I cannot work without a chop saw. It's
Okay, so
just
cutting angles.
cutting crown, nested.
That's what I was hoping you'd say.
Okay. Can you cut a wide crown, but then you have to dial in your saw and your angle unit. Your saw at 31.6 or 31, whatever they are. If it's a perfect 90, to get that is that tough, but you have the capability to do some wide stuff. And, in Vegas, they do that foam crown. That's huge in the casinos. And they use the MFT because they can cut these really wide crown boards. But you got to dial in, what is it, 34.5 and 31.9, something like that.
Yes, that's what I was going to say. Is it's definitely possible in MFT, but God, it would take a long time to dial that in.
Well, I was hoping he would say is talking about crown, right? So again, going back to me and my shop, so angles and cutting molding, right? Those are the two that, Sedge would say in his shop, he cannot live without, right? It saves him time. Going back to that, for me in my shop, one, I'm not cutting crown. And if I ever need to, I'm just going to go to you, Sedge, because screw all that. I'll let you cut all of it because you know what you're doing.
Well,
but
it's any molding. Getting a rail to rest on that profile is tough as heck. Right. Where you just are bringing that blade down to the profile, whether it's small chair rail, corner round, anything. Sorry.
No, I wanted to have that discussion because that's important for people listening. Is they're like, well, could I live without a miter saw? And then they're like, wait, no, I do a lot of that stuff, so no, I could never live without. You know what I mean?
Yep.
For me in my shop, I could live without it.
I'll take it a step further. When you're doing base, say you're doing an outside miter, where do you mark it? You mark it at the very top, and you stand it up, okay, and you can bring your blade or your laser down to it. Where when you're cutting it on the MFT, it's hard to line up on the top of it because you got to lay it flat. So I understand. We've had this discussion with Patrick because Patrick isn't a believer in miter saws.
He has one, by the way.
He does.
He just doesn't believe they exist. He's like one of those flat earthers, but it's like a miter saw-ers. He just doesn't think they actually exist.
Maybe it's Michelle's miter saw and not his.
It probably is. That whole shop is Michelle's, not his.
Yeah. By the way, his shop's looking good, man. He sent me pictures.
So it's funny because I actually asked him. You mentioned him with the miter saw when I was over there last weekend. Last weekend or weekend before. I was like, "You have a miter saw, Patrick? Like, why are you always saying you don't have one?" He's like, "Yeah, that's only for, when I cut baseboards and stuff for the house." And I'm like, so you have that like on a stand rolling around in your shop just because you...
All right, honey, it's September. It's time to change all the baseboards in the house. I got to bring up my miter saw now.
Yeah, but I just thought it was funny, but hey, he gets by without it and has got by without a long time. And I've seen the stuff that he makes and, he could argue like, I don't need a miter saw to build this stuff. Well, he didn't, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, that's miter saw is my second one. If we do a third one, I got to think of one more. Ben, your turn.
Oh, mine's table saw, and I have done without it for 4 years now. There have been probably, I can count on one hand how many times in the last 4 years I wish I had a table saw, not because I didn't have the capability to do it, but because it just would have been quicker for what I was trying to do. Like if I was trying to do just some really quick thin rips, it would have been easier just to knock them out real quick. But those kind of jobs are far and few between. I've gotten by without a table saw for years now.
Cool. My turn?
Yep.
Okay. So here's kind of an out for people. If you're looking to get rid of something and part with it, I did a video on my corrugated stapler. I don't know if you guys saw it on Sedge Tool. Should I keep it or sell? No, should I keep it or sell it? When I bought this pass load corrugated stapler was 20 years old. So now It's like 45 years old.
Damn.
Okay, I bought it from a cop in Fort Lauderdale, and he gave me 10,000 corrugated staples with it. And I bought it with a bunch of different nailers. He gave me a great deal. I think I paid 100 for like 5 nailers and all the staples, whatever. I used 2,000 of those staples, and that's a lot of staples, putting some frames together that I needed to do. And I have moved it from one shop to another in Fort Lauderdale, and then I moved it up here, and it sat, and I was moving it all around. So you know what you do? You give it away. And I did the video, and I finally gave it to my buddy Jordan from Bare Knuckle Builds, with the caveat, if I ever need to use it. So there you go. Give it to someone you like.
Locally.
And so now he's storing it for me.
I see how you're doing it now, Sedge.
No, you want to know something? I've given so much away in the last 2 years. Big D has gotten a ton of stuff. Jordan is getting a lot of stuff, and these guys are just real appreciative of it. So
it's almost like you're doing like a Ponzi scheme, but with tools.
Yes. Hey, I needed storage. I needed space.
It's a Sedgley scheme.
Yeah.
Sedge scheme. Go. Okay. On to you again. This is Live Without It Roulette. Up with you, Jason.
Okay. I just thought of this one. Trigger clamps. Man, people's heads are going to explode on that one.
Ooh.
I believe,
Yeah.
just so you know, everybody, stop what you're doing and hear me out. I do think you can have enough clamps. People's heads just exploded right now. Trigger clamps, though.
Yeah.
I could do without them. No problem. No problem at all. Matter of fact, I am doing without them now.
Yeah, I guess so. Huh? Boy, you guys really get me thinking, man, when we start talking about this, and we've had decluttering conversations, Ben, before. You really get me thinking.
I have 2 trigger clamps, and that's been fine.
Yeah.
I've gotten by with those for 2 or 3 years now. I have parallel clamps, but
Yeah, where'd you get those from?
Sedge gave them to me, actually.
Yeah. A tall sedge with a little bit of hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, actually, it was some guy that like secretly took a Pony Jorgensen brain deal, and he just gave me all of his K bodies.
Yeah, right. No, so in my new shop, I don't have any. I went to the Woodpecker's clamp racket system, and I fit everything that wasn't a trigger clamp.
Wait a minute. That kind of seems like a cop out. Show me what it is. What are you talking about? So you're just talking about the storage system is what you went to.
Yeah.
Okay. Why'd you say yeah like that? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I did. Okay. Yeah.
I don't understand what was unclear about that.
Whatever.
So why not trigger clamps?
Well, one, because when I was putting all my clamps up there, I'm like, since I don't have unlimited storage space with this new system, I'm like, I'm going to go with the clamps that I know I use all the time. Well, for me, that is parallel clamps, F-style clamps, and the uni clamps. And so I have a whole like tub full of trigger clamps. Now I still have them, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're just down in my basement now. I'm not going to store them in the shop because I don't need them. But I look back and I'm like, when do I even use trigger clamps at this point? The only time I ever reach for a trigger clamp is if like I'm in the middle of something and I'm like, have one hand to do it with. And I'm like, I just need to get this, clamp down real quick.
What?
But other than that, I find them finicky. I find them.
Well, and you're also not doing a whole lot of like smaller work. Most of your stuff is paneling and big, long pieces and wide pieces. None of it is really,
It's what's funny about trigger clamps. Trigger clamps are the first clamp you're going to use at entry, right? Because they're readily available, they're easily accessible, and they are inexpensive for the most part. They're way less expensive than other style clamps. Same thing with F-style clamps. Then people start using other things like pipe clamps and parallel clamps.
Wait,
and all
what do
this
you
other
mean,
stuff.
you people?
You people, yeah. So once I started using those other clamps and realizing how much I liked them, trigger clamps just kind of, fell to the wayside.
You don't.
I don't have a big need for them
for like around the house for stuff.
That's what I'm saying. If it's like some off the wall oddball thing, I just need to hold something in place real quick because I'm doing something like, but I'm not using them on furniture. I'm not using them on a build. Maybe in like a dry fit that doesn't have any sort of fasteners or dominoes or anything. And I'm like just trying to kind of hold it in place for a second. But even then I'm going to grab an F-style clamp. So yeah, I just trigger clamps. As I was looking around, I'm like, that's exactly what I opened up my drawer that has some other clamp stuff like the jaws for the parallel clamps, do angled clamps, do glue ups, that kind of. And as soon as I opened it, I was like, trigger clamps, boom. I could absolutely do away or do without those.
Okay.
Ben, what do you got?
I would say mine is probably the Fuji Q5, the sprayer. That I purchased that mainly because I wanted to have a 3-phase that I could push some latex paint out with whenever I paint my basement, but also to spray finish down quicker. Like that's literally the only reason why I did it, is because I got tired of hand painting all of my stools. So that's probably the one that I could do without. But again, it's another
You paint
one of
your
those things.
stools?
Yeah, every time I'm in the bathroom, I just scoop it up out of the toilet and I paint my little faces on them, and I'll leave them out to dry so that way I can play with them later.
My stool.
Stool art.
Yeah.
Leo does that too.
Now, I mean, and again, not that I would want to get rid of it, but it's something that I don't necessarily need, but it is something that it's great to have because it makes things easier and quicker. So, what about you, Sedge?
Well, I'm going to bring it around to a Festool tool that I can definitely live without. Yeah. How about that? RO 125, the Rotex 125. I have no need for it. I have an RO 150 and RO 90, and everything else, all the other Festool sanders get me what I need to get. I just don't need the RO 125. Somebody asked me,
I'm with you on that.
What's one sander I should get? I always recommend the 150 because it's about 32% more surface area than the 125. So
yeah,
I am totally with you on that. And now you just reminded me. Lately, I've been spending money. Now I know I'm going to order the Rotex 150 and sell the 125.
You don't have a 150?
Yeah, I thought you already had a 150.
No, I have a 125. I got the ETS EC 150, and ever since I got that, I'm like, why do I still have the Rotex 125?
Yeah, I just threw away a bunch of 150s.
Yeah,
Jesus.
My reasoning for it was, well, I still have the ETS 125 for the edge sander, but I'm like, I'll just keep all my paper for that and get the Rotex 150.
I might buy it from you.
Okay. Sold. $700. Oh, well, find one online. Go ahead. Tell me how much it costs.
I'll just buy a new one.
Back ordered. I know. Find one. Just kidding.
I'm not in a rush.
I'll give you a good deal. I'll give you $10 off what it would cost new, and I will touch it before I send it to you.
Ooh.
So that makes it worth at least 70 million.
I'll sneeze on it and make it worth more.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I'll put in like a worn undershirt in the sustainer so you can always smell me. All right. We're doing really good, guys. Now let's all name one thing that we can't live without to end this. You want me to go first?
Okay. Yeah, you can go first. I've already got mine.
This is hard because I have so many that I would say, but I'm going to say the cordless track saw from Festool.
It's a good one.
Ooh, that's a good one.
It's a good one.
Track saw in general, but that one specifically.
Yeah.
That will never leave my shop.
That's a great track saw.
I could not live without that.
One of my videos.
God, this question sucks.
Yeah, because there's so many things. Like I could have said, I'll save it. Go ahead.
You could have said oxygen. Like we all need that.
Ooh.
Especially in the shop.
I was gonna say Patrick. He's a tool that I could not live without.
I know, he's such a tool.
Yeah.
Okay, so I want to, in the sense of we couldn't replace it with anything, or just like right now as it is, I couldn't do anything without this thing. If somebody came and stole this tonight, I'd be like, crap, man.
Yes.
Like that? Okay.
Something you just
yeah,
it would totally destroy your workflow. Yeah.
You'd be devastated.
Oh, the MFT with the hands down.
Oh wow, that's a good one too.
That is the heart of my workshop is the MFT. I do everything off of that, even though I hit my cable. I have switches everywhere.
Ooh.
You guys hear me?
Yep.
We can hear you.
Are you still there?
Yeah, I am. It stopped recording on Audacity. That's fine. Yeah, the MFT, I do everything off of that. When I'm
that makes a lot of sense.
Down there, like anything with the motorcycle, anything with woodworking, anything with just being in the basement, and I need to put something somewhere, I go to the MFT, and that's what I do it off of, like everything. So MFT3. What about you, Sedge?
Okay, I want you guys to guess.
Weightlifting stuff.
Okay, ding. Go ahead.
Yeah.
I would say your bench, your hand plane bench.
Ooh, that's a good one. Jason, you know it.
I mean, I can't say hand planes because you got like 5,000 of them.
Vaxis?
Jason is in deep thought.
Lee Nielsen 4.5.
Oh, okay. I was like, I bet you it's something to do with hand tools,
like,
but no, it's not going to be that obvious.
I
was sitting there thinking, I was like,
that was a good guess.
Favorite number.
That was a really good guess. Is that my hand plane bench? Because that's my benchmark. Duh. Everything I work off of that, but that Lee Nielsen 4.5 has so much sentimental value, and I would be devastated. I could never get rid of it. Yeah. So every one of my fest tools, absolutely. I'd be devastated without my track saw, without my God. That was such a great answer, Ben. That MFT. That is a great answer. But for me, it's a hand tool, and it's the Lee Nielsen 4.5. Because everything I build, I touch with that usually.
I love how none of us said domino.
Well, I actually thought of that, saying that, but
it's like a no-brainer. It's almost one of those tools that you know what I should have said, actually? The Lamello, because
I thought you were, but you lose Keith as a
I can't live without it, guys. I cannot live without it. It is still in the sustainer with the little tie around the power cable. Ridiculous.
That's funny.
But when you use that, you are going to be blown away because that's an amazing machine.
Yeah, I'd like to get some time to come out here, sometime soon and just play with it a little bit. But when I go to IWF, Keith is actually going to be working at the Lamello booth, and I told him the other day, I was like, "Hey, man, so I just want to let you know I'm going to come by the Lamello booth, and I want you to show me how to use this Lamello, everything that it does." Because I still haven't opened it up out of the sustainer since I bought it in December of last year. It is now July.
Nice.
God.
Jason, do you prefer to wipe your ass with $1,000 bills or $100 bills?
I don't. I prefer to have somebody else wipe my ass.
Oh, ding ding.
Oh man.
Wow.
But when they do, $1,000 bills are a lot softer.
It's a higher thread count.
Yeah.
Is there anything else you guys can live without in the shop?
The Vaxxis, I could live without it. I don't want to, but I could. Just because
Definitely makes things much easier.
it does. But I mean, at the end of the day, it is something that holds your material, right? I have other ways to hold material. The way I like to hold the material the most is the Vaxxis. So I wouldn't want to be without it, but I could 100%, I could get by without it, but it would suck.
See, I thought you were going to say something else, Festool, that you sold earlier this year.
What'd you sell?
What?
TS75.
Oh no, I'm totally fine without that.
Yeah, I'm same here.
Yeah. That's why I got rid of it.
I think if yeah.
I don't use thick enough material to need it. And when they came out with the thin kerf blade, and it cuts things just as good, if not better than that 75, at that point, there was absolutely no reason for me to do it. Now, if somebody's cutting 2-inch thick material or more, or putting, if you're doing big, like 8-quarter conference tables or river tables or something like that, and you're doing waterfall edges and all that kind of stuff, then yeah, 75 is the choice. I get that question all the time. Thinking about getting a TS 75 or 55. What do you think? First thing I ask them, how thick of material do you normally work with? Oh, 3/4, 1 inch. I'm like, TS 55, no doubt. And when they say, I do a lot of stuff with 8/4, I'm like, TS 75. And it really boils down to like the bevel portion of it.
It's exactly why I own one.
Yeah. But for me, I'm never cutting anything that thick and have to need a bevel. And when I do, I'll just borrow yours.
That's what I knew you were going to say. It's always there for you, brother. Yep.
Ben, did you have anything else?
I had something, but it got derailed once we started talking about the 75. Yeah. I can't remember now.
Sometimes you have tools that you can't live without because you need them and you use them once every 5 years. And you don't want to have to go out and get another one. Sawzall, right?
There you go.
Yeah.
There's one.
It's a good one. I have one. And again, yeah, I use it once every couple of years, but when I have it, I'm glad I have it. Same thing with the chainsaw. Exactly. Do you use a oscillating tool all the time? Like a Vectoro? No. But we all own one.
I'll tell you right now, I could not live without that damn thing.
You're damn right.
I don't have one. I don't have one yet.
It gets you in a position. It gets you out of situations. That's a must-have for me.
Yeah, I'm going to get one in a couple months.
Do I use one all the time? No.
Anytime you need it, it is the perfect tool for the job.
Absolutely, 100%.
And there's also been times since I've owned it that I went to go use the multi-tool, or that I didn't use the multi-tool, and I'm like, why didn't I use that? This would have been perfect for it. But it's one of the most versatile tools out there, in my opinion.
Yeah. Cool.
Jason, or Sedge, you too, do you guys have any hateful internet comments this week?
Ooh, any get bent?
I have one, and I just found it.
Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to listen to the sultry tones of my voice. I've traveled all the way from Germany to tell you something. It's time to get bent.
Okay.
Show us your hatreds, Jason.
Yeah, I will show you my hatreds. All right, I've only got one tonight. This one is from my 10 useful woodworking tools / accessories. This person states, this product is made for children. Cheap, soft plastic, manufactured improperly, such that feeding the strap through the device is nearly impossible. Another Chinese product fail, and a company that sells it doesn't care about you. Just take the money and run, Bessie.
If
They were
something is
refer-
awesome and possible to use, then why would they market it to children?
Yeah,
Is
right.
that the strap
Your
clamp?
comment makes absolutely no sense, sir. Please strengthen your argument before
that the s-
commenting.
Is that the strapping clamp?
Yeah, this yeah, the strength clamp for like doing like mitered corners, mitered
Yeah.
boxes.
Yeah.
That thing is amazing, by the
It
way.
is. It's
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, they're great.
That person has no clue.
Yeah. Maybe the older one had some issues. I have the newer. I have both, but
The old
Um,
one, mine, it kept on breaking, and then they redesigned it. And the redesign was good.
oh, hold on.
Uh-oh.
Do you have a live one for us?
Just in.
I don't really know if I should read this one.
Who's it from, Patrick?
No, it's on my lighting video.
Oh,
It's actually my most recent comment. But yeah, no, I'll read it to you guys afterwards. I'm not going to read it on here.
okay.
This is not the place.
Mm.
But yeah, that's the only one I got.
Cool.
Nope.
Well, alrighty. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for joining us on episode 46 of the Green Suiters podcast. If you're
What day are
listening
we
to this
doing?
on free feeds, what?
Are you going to talk about beers with the bees?
Yeah.
Okay.
If you're listening to this on free feeds, be sure to leave us a review wherever you listen to this podcast. For all of our patrons, don't forget that July 29th, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're doing Beers with the Boys. We hope to see everyone there. If you want to join us for Beers with the Boys, become a patron at any tier level, and you'll get an invite. You get to hang out with me, Jason, Sedge, the rest of the patrons, and pretty much all that happens is we just pick on Jason the whole time.
It's wonderful.
So if you want a live chance to just make fun of Jason, to point out all of his faults as a human being, that's the time to do it.
And we always tell, and we drink every time we say retirement, don't we?
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
Hey, Gary.
Hey, Gary.
We should try to figure out a way to like have people write testimonials on Beers with the Boys and put it somewhere.
I'll tell you what, I have such a great time on those Friday nights. It's so much daggone fun.
It was a lot of fun hanging out with everybody.
Yeah.
All right.
All right. Well, that's it. Talk to you guys later.